everybody. Welcome to In the Kitchen on STL TV. I am Angela Hochman, and we have a very exciting episode ahead. On today's show, we have got the owner of Tenacious Eats, the lovely Chef Liz Schuster. Liz, how are you?
I'm really good. It's so good to see you.
It's fantastic to see you. We go way back, and I'm just thrilled for you in this exciting new venture.
Well, thank
Not
you.
so new, exactly.
Not so new, but I don't want to date us on how long ago we worked
how
together.
old we look, let's be honest.
Yeah. That
So,
was just a
Liz.
year ago, right?
Yeah, of course.
Of course, we're quick. So I really wanted to make something that we make at home. So it's not so chefy. I'm going to teach you some chefy things I do at home, but this is something everybody can do.
Teach us your tricks. We've got a lovely apple rosemary chicken. You can see the final product here, but we're going to backtrack and make it from the beginning.
I'm going to have you help me make it too.
Okay, yeah, put me to work.
Well,
Let's do this.
First thing I want to tell everybody is do not wash your poultry, ever. Don't run it under water, because what happens is you're going to splatter all of the bacteria and nasty little things all over the inside of your sink, your wall, even your clothes, maybe other dishes that are sitting there. So do not rinse it. But you are going to pat the bird dry.
Okay.
That's key to get a nice crust. The second thing, Angela, I'm going to have you check inside and make sure there's no, I already removed it, but check and make sure.
There's no baby chickens?
There's no baby chickens, and also there's no heart, kidney, neck. Usually they use like a little sack inside the bird. Do you see anything in there?
Doctor, I don't see anything except the inside of a chicken. Yep,
So nothing's in
so
there.
want to check that out as well. Looks like we're clear.
And then this is what I do. I take out that little button, that little red button that pops out.
Always there.
It's never accurate. And I don't like the idea of cooking with plastic. It bothers me.
Okay,
So what you're gonna do is, this is what I do at home. I portion out my salt and pepper ahead of time so that you're not reaching back in to contaminate something.
Yes.
So this is actually, it's not my technique. It's actually my grandfather's technique I'm gonna share. So once you've patted that bird dry, you're gonna pour just a little bit of melted butter. Just a skosh, like this.
Skosh of melted butter.
Just a little bit.
That smells really good.
Okay. Next, you're gonna salt and pepper the inside of the bird, and you're going to salt and pepper the outside.
Okay.
Rub a little bit.
Just
and that's
little bits at a time?
Yeah, and that's why we patted it dry, because if you had residual moisture on top of it, the fat's gonna run off. Have you ever done that? Like you're like, oh, this is gonna be delicious, and then, yeah, it all falls off. And you're like, oh my gosh. And you're really gonna be liberal with it, because when you start roasting, you're gonna lose about 40% of the sodium in the pan. Yeah, I know a lot of people are like, I don't want that much salt. The other reason is too, the sodium is kind of like a dry brine. You're keeping all the moisture in, and the next step I'm gonna show you is really gonna keep the moisture in for when you roast this. This is my apple cider vinegar and cheesecloth method.
Apple cider vinegar in a cheesecloth.
All you do is dip cheesecloth in the apple cider vinegar, and you don't want it super dry and you don't want it super wet either. This is perfect.
Okay.
And this is what I always have a challenge with. This is why I'm a slow food chef. I use local ingredients because I can't open packages.
I love it though. Take your time, support local. What's the rush, really?
So before we put the cheesecloth on top, I'm gonna have you tuck the wings underneath the bird. I'll do one so you can see what I'm talking about. And you're tucking the wings underneath.
This is
and it keeps the tips from burning. It's more of an even cook, but you want the bird to look like they're trying to get a suntan.
Just lounging. Okay.
So just push real hard.
Tuck on in there.
Perfect.
Oops.
And if it breaks, it's okay. It's not the end of the world.
Don't move.
Don't move.
I think we're good to go.
The next thing is we're going to truss the legs together.
Okay.
So I'm gonna make a little slip knot. And this is where you're gonna get up close and personal with your bird.
We know this bird very, very well.
So what I'm gonna have you do, Angela, is I'm gonna have you tie the legs together as tight as you can get them, and tie a little bow.
I'm gonna tie a little bow. And just a little bit about Tenacious Eats, Liz. So you get to integrate your love of food and film. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I went to the same place you went to.
Columbia College,
Yay,
Chicago.
alumni.
Yahoo.
Now they're going to ask us for money, I'm sure. I have a degree in film direction from Columbia. I also cooked my way through school when I lived in Chicago.
You're probably eating much better than the other students there.
That's why I was cooking, so I could get my free staff meal every day.
Fantastic.
But all we're going to do is, before we put this in the oven, you're just going to cover the bird a little neatly.
Just a little blanket, okay.
Yeah, a little blanket. Pop it in the oven at 425.
Okay.
And about an hour and a half, depends on how many pounds, because people are like, exactly how long, chef? I'm like, till it's done. So you're going to temp both the breast and the leg and make sure it's 165.
And how many ounces would you say this chicken
This is about a 4.5.
Okay.
So it's
fantastic.
Relatively good sized little bird, but that's not going to take all day, right?
Okay.
You could even put this in a crock pot like this. It works like a charm. So when you're done, all I did was I pulled the cheesecloth off, and you've got this beautiful crisp. And it's not. This also protects it too from getting overcooked.
Incredible.
So when you're done serving, all I'm going to do for the sauce is a little butter, a little brown sugar.
Just a little.
Just a little. I like a lot.
Me too.
Because also,
Ooh, and what was that you just added?
this is a little Dijon mustard.
I wouldn't have thought that brown sugar and Dijon mustard somehow go together and it tastes magical.
It's that sweet and sour German profile. I figured if I was using my family's recipe, I should go with the German profile on the sauce. So once this starts to bubble and reduce, I'm going to I added some, what we call in the kitchen, mirepoix. It's carrots, onions, celery, and roasted apple.
Fancy.
From the pan with the chicken, I'm going to go back in the sauce with that.
All these delightful harvest vegetables, and I love that you also get all your products locally. I think that's super important.
I like to know where my products are coming from.
Gotcha.
It makes me feel more confident. So when you're ready to serve your bird, Angela, if you would, just pour a little of the sauce over the top.
A little bit of the sauce over the top.
And see how nice and tight it is after all of the sugars melt, and you've got
it's beautiful.
The mustard gives it tang, but the mustard also acts as an emulsifier. It brings everything together.
Great.
But you could do anything you want with this. You could do figs, apple, orange, any kind of change you like. The rosemary is added to the sauce. For a little kick, so.
Fantastic. Well, we are going to let this sit here for just a moment. We're going to come back after this short break, and we are not finished. When the bird's cooking, we are making a very sweet dish by the pastry chef, Steve Schmidt. We'll see you in a minute.
Drop that baby.
Welcome back to In the Kitchen. Now, a few minutes ago, Chef Liz and I created, an apple rosemary chicken, as one does. I'm pretty certain it's going to look just like this. Is that right, Liz?
Oh yeah, it can't fail.
No.
Can't fail.
No. And joining us now is the pastry chef of Tenacious Eats, Steve Schmidt.
Well, hello.
Steve, thanks for joining us
Well,
here.
thank you, I appreciate it.
So I understand you're going to sweeten things up a little bit
Well, you
for
have
us.
to, after a chicken dinner like that, you have to have something good and sweet to,
Absolutely,
to
sweet
last.
and savory.
Exactly, and then maybe even a little bit left over for, the next morning to dunk in your coffee. So,
Well, let's
that's
get
what we
down to
like.
business because I can smell all the delicious ingredients.
So these shortbread cookies are, cinnamon cookies are really easy to make. All you do, if I have you help me here, is a little bit of flour.
Okay.
All you want to do is put all your dry ingredients in the
A little
bowl.
bit at a time?
Just put it all in there. That's fine.
Okay. Figure
And
if we
then-
don't get some flour on us, we're not really doing our
you're
job.
You're not a baker then. That's fine.
Perfect.
And
Okay.
then here we have a little bit of sugar, so we'll just dump the sugar in there.
Just a little bit.
So and then you have a little bit of cinnamon and baking powder. Go ahead and dump those in there too.
Okay. We've got any particular type of cinnamon?
We use I'm sorry.
Chinese.
A Chinese, sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
It had a little brain mix up there. But yeah, and then that's a little bit of baking powder, so that'll just help it a little bit rise.
Not baking soda.
So then
They're different.
Exactly. One will help you, twice acting is what it is. It's going to help you in different stages of the baking process. So what I do now is, and our little trick here, what we do is for your cold butter, is we take a box grater. Go ahead and if you can grab the box grater, and instead of mixing it together, use the larger side over here.
Okay.
And then just grate your butter into your.
Just bringing it up?
All the way, the whole stick. Just from the edge and all the way down. And what this does, it helps you incorporate the butter into the pastry.
What a
little bit
secret.
easier.
Thanks for
It's a
sharing.
nice little trick. Instead of trying to cut it in with the pastry
Oh my
cutter and all that,
gosh.
this is a lot quicker.
I think the fat distribution's better.
Sure.
It's more even.
Oh,
you know?
that makes a heck of a lot of sense. So while I'm working on this butter here, let's get down to like the experience of Tenacious Eats. It is unlike any foodie experience because like we mentioned, there's film and food. Talk about that.
Well, there's film, food, and cocktails.
Whoa.
Triple threat.
They all go together.
All go together. With my background in film and food, I wanted to bring them both together, but I'm also like I just don't have a film education, I have a film obsession.
Okay.
So I wanted, so one of our, I think one of our biggest, missions with Tenacious Eats is to make our guests feel like they're immersed in the movie, the culture. I want them to have a totally visceral experience.
So you pick a movie, you watch it many times, you get inspired by food mentioned in the movie and design a 5-course meal that people can enjoy while they're watching the movie together.
And what we do is we also will pause the film about 15 to 20 minutes, and then we introduce each course. And sometimes it's like exactly what you see in the movie. So if there's food in the film, sometimes it's literal. And then sometimes I'm like, oh, there's no food in this movie. And I come up with, like, somebody says something weird about sausage, like in Groundhog Day, or there's some strange reference. So it just depends on the film.
And you've done films like It's a Wonderful Life and Beetlejuice and my favorite, Mean Girls. Thank you for having cheese fries on the menu.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Whatever, I'm getting cheese fries.
What I do, okay, so that was a literal example, but instead of just cheese fries, we did my version of like a Cajun poutine. So it had a Cajun blue cheese, kind of cheese sauce, and then little bits of bacon and even more cheese. And then
My
Chef
mouth
Steve.
waters every time I hear about that. So.
We're an interesting couple because I do 4 courses of savory, and he's the cleanup batter. He's pastry. He's the last course.
Gotta have the cleanup batter.
And then I always say, well, he gets all the praise, but
Okay.
But
Almost
then
finished.
That's fine.
that's perfect.
You're doing fine.
So then I would toss it with your fingers.
So what we'll do is, we'll just take, what you do is now you get it a little dirty. So just kind of toss it in
it all
and mix it
together,
in.
toss
And what
it
you'll
in?
do is you'll mix it with your fingers and kind of make it into you want it like a sand, kind of a coarse sand mixture. And it'll start coming together. You'll start feeling it and then just keep mixing.
I never would have thought that putting butter in it this way makes a difference, and in the taste as
incorporates.
well.
Sure, it does. It sure does.
So what inspires you, Steve, when you're coming up with these culinary concoctions? Where do you go for inspiration?
Well, it's funny. Is when I was a young kid with my grandfather, we baked cakes when I was a Cub Scout. And it was it's something that's always been in my blood and my, my whole family also.
Could have used your scouting skills when I was tying up that bird earlier.
Exactly.
They owned a dairy farm too.
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So
That's something both of you share, is a rich family history of culinary.
So what I'm going to do here is add a couple eggs,
Okay.
and then we're going to keep on mixing.
That's another thing too. Never crack your egg on the side of a table or an edge or the edge of the bowl. You're pushing all of the bacteria and nasty stuff into the actual yolk.
Really? So you always crack an egg other than
flat
anywhere else, other
right.
than the bowl.
flat
Fantastic.
surface,
So go
never
ahead,
on an
we'll
edge.
go ahead and mix that with, you can use the little high temp hat.
Picking up what you're throwing down.
Sure.
I
And then what
gotcha.
I'll do is I'll add a little bit, we're going to just keep mixing this together.
Okay.
I'm going to add a little bit of liquid now, so just go ahead and stir.
What type of milk, Steve?
This one we use is a whole organic milk.
Okay.
And you can use half and half, or even whole cream if you want it more rich.
Could you use an almond milk, or some people are
You could actually.
dairy-free?
We have done that. We've actually cooked vegan raw. We've cooked all that. So I mean,
Well, every show.
Every show we have different kind
so
of-
many people ask us, Chef, well, what if, they see the menu
Okay.
and there's like all kinds of meat on it, and they're like, but I'm a vegan, I'm a vegetarian,
Right. And if people are feeling brave and they want to try to make this at home, we have got the ingredients out there. Or if not, you just call up your buddies at Tenacious Eats.
So now when it starts sticking, you go ahead and we'll dump in some chips here.
What types of chips? These are not chocolate chips.
These are cinnamon chips.
Yeah.
And again, that's going to give it a different hold, and it actually makes the house smell really wonderful.
Yes, that makes the studio smell wonderful.
So actually, and right now, as you can tell, it's getting a little bit hard to do.
It
Go ahead and start
is.
using hand. This is where
I gotta lift
baking
some
is
more
fun.
weights.
You get to use your hands and get immersed into your food.
Okay.
And that's what I really like, the tactile feel.
It's a nice stress reliever,
is,
too. It's
right?
like a stress ball, but it's delicious and edible.
So then
Oh
once
my
you get it, you'll see it start coming together. And you really
Yes.
don't want to overwork your dough, because once you start overworking your dough, it'll make your cookies and your shortbreads really tough.
And they will not look beautiful like the ones
Exactly.
here.
So and again, yes, we're going to make you. So here, typically what I will do
We're
is
fine.
I will use one hand, and that way you have the other hand to move. So we let you get a little dirty there.
We call
So-
it the claw. The claw.
The claw, I
The
love
claw.
it.
So as you can tell, it's starting to come together there as a whole
Oh,
dough.
definitely.
So what you can do now is you get your whole piece out, and then you'll bring it out on your cutting board, right?
Okay.
And I'm going to set this over here. So now you want to do it real quick. You want to kind of bring it together.
Okay,
And
okay.
pat it down, right? So now you want to get to about the thickness you have, and that's really good. Keep your edges good.
Like a perfect circle.
Oh, you want a perfect circle, right? So then that's good right there. So then once you do that, you
perfect
make your circle.
Great.
And now you want to cut it in a pies.
Okay.
So cut me 8 slices, 8, right? No, go right in the center.
right in
There
the
you
center.
go. And then straight down.
Okay.
And then do it in 4s.
Perfect. And then how long do we bake these?
Well, again, this is one of those things. It's until it's done. But no, typically about 10 to 12 minutes, maybe.
Perfect.
So
when you
that-
can just smell all the
Exactly.
ingredients coming together.
If you make smaller circles, you can make mini little scones /
Oh,
shortcakes. So
well, let's do this.
you can, you know what I mean?
We're
so
serving 8 friends.
There
yeah.
you go.
I think this is really good for breakfast or brunch on
Absolutely.
Sundays, like for
Kinda-
Christmas Eve. We've done this
Yes.
for brunch, for home. We've done cranberry with them and
Oh,
orange. and-
I bet.
So then what you want to do is you make sure you spray your pan too.
Definitely.
Because that'll make it a release. And then you just set it on your pan.
Fighting that spatula later if you
exactly.
do not. Perfect. So these seem wonderful. I mean, you can dip them in coffee
Oh,
and
coffee's the
tea
greatest
and
thing, right?
perhaps some Baileys. I mean, let's.
Little Irish.
exactly
a little Irish.
in my mornings,
Sure.
yeah.
Yes.
But
okay.
I mean, our desserts with Tenacious Eats are sometimes pretty complicated. It's the wow factor at the end of the show. So I think Steve likes to make these on weekends when we're being lazy. You know.
Okay, well, let us
So-
know. We'll pop on over for brunch if that's
there
what
you
you're
go.
serving. You guys, you have made some amazing dishes for us. Liz, I'm going to let you top that off because, dessert's not a dessert unless it's got a garnish. I would like to thank both of you so much for coming to In the Kitchen.
Thank you for
You've
having us.
given us
Yeah.
your time, your energy, your culinary secrets. You guys, check them out online. If you are interested in booking an event with them, they also do private parties, and their events are always open to the public. A place where you can immediately follow them, Instagram. Trust me, you're gonna get sucked into that. You're gonna get real hungry real quick. And we would like to also thank our sponsors for supporting the show. Cozy Bear Creations is a St. Louis-based company specializing in one-of-a-kind wood carvings. They don't just make tables, they make toys, they make bow ties, even our very own kitchen sign here. In the kitchen, if you can see it, it looks amazing. You can follow them on Instagram and Facebook and at cozybearcreations.com. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram and see what's cooking next time. Tune in.